Hello, viewers. Whoa. All right. Back in business. So I am continuing on with Conan the Barbarian. This comic book right here, my goal was, well, to, of course, learn from this amazing artist, who is John Buscema. You guys can catch up on all the previous streams by heading over to the video section and filtering it based on collection. The first episode is pretty interesting. It really gives you guys insight into how comics were colored back in the day, back in the 50s, back in the 30s, actually. It goes back to the 30s, late 30s, early 40s, what the method was like. So it's a special intro on its own, and it's worth checking out. And it also, well, for coloring comics is different, but if you guys do drawing comics, you can check out the short flick that I created introducing you guys to John Buscema, talking about his journey to becoming an illustrator at Marvel, and just giving you guys more insight about who he was and all the beautiful work that he's done throughout. So you guys can check that out as well. That's also in the video section, and it's also in the highlights folder, which has all the special intros there. So you can always check that out. I'm going to continue on. I'm a little bit behind in coloring comics, so you guys will see more new panels in drawing comics. So for coloring comics, we're still at a point where Conan is infiltrating the cult meeting. So he disguised himself as one of the cult members, and he snuck into one of their secret meetings. And here he's getting past the guard. He's just waving him off as if though he's one of them. He shows him some sort of symbol to show that he's part of the group. And I'm going to continue on with that. And it looks like I nailed it the first time around. What color costume is. Which is great. Just quickly work through it before it dries up on the palette. Because India inks are very quick when it comes to drying. It's the benefit. And slight drawback, I'm gonna say it's not that big of a deal. I think maybe adding like a drop of water, just a tiny bit, can maintain how long it's gonna stay in liquid form. So you could just like dip your brush in it, you know, clean the brush out, dip it in water, and then dip it into the ink that you want to maintain in liquid form. It's also helpful for just watering it down a little bit, so that for example here there are certain details that I want to maintain, I want to keep, but I also want to color around them, you know, so it doesn't have this like white border. And it helps to just like dip the brush in a little bit of water to dilute the color. And gives you a chance to go over all those like black lines and not cover them up completely. Got this little jar here to clean up the brushes. It's important to have a lid on it. You don't ever want to knock it down. Have it spill everywhere. It'll be a complete disaster, especially if you got pets. So for the belt, it looks like it's a bit of brown. A little bit of black, I'm gonna say. And some white. Now each time I don't dip it into the same area. I kind of start with a new area so that it doesn't become like this long mixing game until the color is the same. Because if it's brown and I dip it into some like other color and then dip it back into brown, it's just going to take a lot longer to get it the right color that I need it to be, as opposed to just starting fresh somewhere on a palette and creating a new color off of that, whatever is on the brush. That to be a lot easier, especially working with black too, because dipping it in any color that's lighter, it becomes more difficult to change its tone. And this is a challenging color for the belt, because a lot of it is just pixels. They're really close together. The dots are really close together, so I can't really tell which color is most present. Like there's brown, there's black, there's yellow. It's a little bit of everything. And I'm going to say this color I have going on right now is probably the closest. I'm going to dip it into water just a smidge. And as you can see, it's still, it maintains the detail, even though I went over it. And it's also going to look a lot better once it dries completely. Once it dries completely, then I'm going to get to see all that detail, that what looks like it's covered up. But it's not. It just looks that way in the early stages of the India inks. just noticed this little bit of the cultist hood, I guess. I didn't color in this panel. Over the weekend, I actually practiced using the brush as an inking tool as opposed to the brush pen that you guys saw me use previously, and I like it. It's a much more simple process, and the fact that I could always dip it into the ink to get like a fresh tone is also a perk. Because before, with that brush pen, the color would eventually get more and more faded as it dried. And I would have to like refill it, squeeze it, clean it. There was a lot that went into it. So this is much more simple. I combine these. Trying to see if I could just combine sections, because I don't really need that much. It's only a dot of blue. For the helmet. All right, I'm getting some pretty good results with these first attempt color mixing. Suppose it could be a bit brighter. I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking there. And now, ooh, there's a little bit of detail on his jacket. Notice. Which looks kind of greenish. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. What I'm noticing is that when I wash the brush, it actually becomes useful in maintaining liquid form of the India inks. No, that's a little too green still. I guess a little bit of brown. Oop. I think eventually I'm going to start filling vials of the colors. But the entire reason why I'm doing it is to get better and better at color mixing. It's not just about like finishing up these panels. It's also getting faster at the process of like seeing the colors and getting the right results when I mix them. I'd say that's about right. It's also on this side as well. Okay, and now to the most challenging part, which is skin color. Which requires white, lots of white, red, and yellow. And really is just trying to play with the red and yellow to get just the right tone. It's actually all three, red, yellow, and white. Maybe at some point in the future, I'm going to have another camera set up so that way you guys can also see the mixing process. Because right now I just don't have enough space for it. That looks pretty good, actually. Good results with skin tone. And at this pace, it looks like I might be able to actually get 2 panels done, like this one as well. All right. So I guess today's theme is speed. Boom, done. Question is, do I want to work more on the background color? Like that green looks too forest green to me. Whereas here it's like in between, like his color and this. Let's do it. Why not? some yellow, some green. How accurate is that? That's pretty good. And I'm not too bothered by the fact that it's covering up some of that detail, like the little dots that I'm seeing. As long as they're still visible, I'll just come back with it with the brush and add some black there. Maybe a smidge of brown. Gonna add a smidge of brown there. Getting wild with the coloring today. Not even taking time to make sure the colors are properly mixed in the palette. Just going straight to the paper. And still getting pretty good results. I'm happy about this. I think adding a little bit of that brown helped. It looks more accurate. And I think when it dries, it gets slightly darker. So that should help as well. Because right now it looks very bright. Should add a little bit more white there. To be honest, I didn't mind what it looked like. But again, I just really want to get better at mixing colors, so it's not so much about aesthetic. It's more about just the accuracy. Because if it was aesthetic, I would have left it. You know, I kind of liked the texture that my mixing brought. And also, I wasn't really working with a clean brush at the time. Like, I didn't bother to swish it around in water to, like, get rid of all the other colors, so it might have been a bit mucky. Like, that green was a little mucky. I'm going to do one more pass. Too yellow. Too light. Yeah. Too yellow and too light. Afraid of adding green in there because green is really overpowering. And as I suspected, that is the case. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to maintain its liquid form for a longer period of time. Add some brown. Yellow. More white. And we have a deal here. Is this looking right? Close. I feel really challenged by this color. Like, I'm really trying to nail it because it's like... I'm gonna say more brown, probably. Add another smidge of brown there. And I'm just gonna have to accept that I'm gonna have to re-ink this panel. Now, this is so different from how they would do it. I'm working on just like one layer basically, that one layer being the paper. Whereas what they did back in the day when they were doing this, and they were also using India inks as well. Is they would use acetate paper. So acetate paper is really transparent, and they would just to be honest, I'm not really sure what the process was like because they still needed the inks. So I don't know if like they had the inks all the way on the bottom, and then they would do it over it, and then they would switch the inks and have them stay on top of all the layers to know, like, okay, well, how far am I supposed to go? You know, how far am I supposed to color this section and this section? It would have been cool if they had, like, a video from back in the day showing like what that process was like, and I think I might be able to like find some. That might be my next challenge, is to find a video that shows what that process was like, what coloring comics was really like in the 30s, late 30s, early 40s. So like from what I do know is that it was like a studio for mass production, basically, and people, all sorts of people, you know, they would hire pretty much anybody off the street. Like, you didn't have to have any past experience or anything, which is so cool. And they would just have them sit in the studio and paint over based on like the codes given for the colors by the illustrators. Too white. But what I don't know is like what was the format? What was like the official format? Did they have two acetate paper ink drawings to help people like color within the lines? Or was it just one on top and that's pretty much it? Which I would imagine would be pretty confusing. Okay. I'm gonna leave this panel alone, and I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is this panel right here. So more green actually, so it kind of works out that I'm like mixing all these colors. Still need to do these panels with the same tone. In fact, it's gonna repeat through all the panels here. Notice that the shadows are different though. So I'm still gonna have to figure out that color. And it's kind of hard to judge what the color that I'm currently working with looks like if it's the correct color considering. Considering the shadows. So we're about to find out. I'm going to do a little bit of mixing here. Take that green. I'm sort of curious, like, is there a little blue there? Boo, No. Although it doesn't look horrendous, I'll say that. Kind of like that tone. It's like a turquoise. See, like that to me looks cool because it's a transition. It's like from a turquoise to more of like a green as it gets towards the bottom. But once again, I'm not really going for aesthetic here. I do like this gradual transition. I'll keep it. It's our secret. But now that I did make that shadow, I could see that that green is too green. Like I need to tone it down a little bit. With some brown. And maybe add a little bit more white. These pixels are playing tricks on me. I can't really tell what color it is. I mean, it looks close, but still, every time I look at it, I start to notice like a different shade with it. Like now I'm seeing a little bit of blue there. Add a smidge of blue. A smidge of blue and some more white. I don't think I was too far off. I think it was right. There was a little bit of blue there. Okay. I'm gonna take a rest from that color. And I'm gonna move on to the background, which looks like blue, white, and black. Just a little bit of that. Or maybe just blue and white. Nah. I'm gonna say there's black there. Ooh, too much. This is what I'm talking about. Like now it's way too black. Like even a drop of black in that turned disastrous. Turned incredibly dark. Not bad. Looks about right. It's not incredibly off. Now, I kind of want to smoothen this out, to be honest. Did I get it right on the first go? I don't know. Maybe there's like a little bit of... Oh man, what is that? Is that a little bit of red in there? We got some. I mean, I have a little red to give it that like violet kind of color. But I don't think that's right. Or is it? Is it? It's hard to tell. I'm gonna add black. Just a tiny little bit. No, even that, man, like it muddies it up. Like, look at this. And I added a drop. I'm talking about just a smidge of it. Not even that much. And it instantly turned it into this like mucky brown, well, gray color. Not cool, man. Not cool. I have to just like clean up the brush. I'm gonna clean out the brush. I think that's the best way to go about it. Oh man. Forgetting there was water in there too. Thankfully, I didn't tilt it. Okay, I'm going to start over again. Some purple. A lot of white. A smidge of red. Just a little bit. That transforms it. And I'm going to borrow a little bit of that mucky color. Because I feel like it's kind of... It's not incredibly bright color. It's like a dull purple violet. I think this is more accurate. Yes. I'm going to dip it in a little bit of water, just a smidge of water, to maintain its pliability so that it doesn't start drying up on the brush, because it really does dry that quickly. Like, India inks dry incredibly quickly. So just adding a little bit of water goes a long way. And as you can see, I just went over those little bits of detail. Because like I said, I'm planning to come back with the brush and just fill it up. Well, go over it again in black. Ink it, re-ink it. And there's no going around it in this method. Like, if you're not using acetate paper, you just kind of have to re-ink stuff. Unless you're extremely careful about like every tiny... There's like such tiny little details that I feel like it's probably going to be less amount of time re-inking it than trying to like color around them. So maybe the better route would be to pencil it, right? To like use a darker pencil, not the blue pencil, because the blue pencil is lighter. But like start out with the blue pencil, you know, do the sketch, then use regular pencil to go over it, and then color it, and then ink it. So inking would be like the very last stage, basically, with this approach, I guess, if you're just using regular paper. In order for things to look crisp and not have to redo things over and over and over again, I'd say that's probably like the best approach. Make inking the very last step. So it would be a 4-stage process. The first stage would be blue pencil, then it would be regular lead, then it would be coloring, and then it would be inking. I'm using a lot of water this time around in comparison to all the other times. I'm just doing it to keep it liquid on the palette, so I don't have to remix it all over again each time. So as I mentioned multiple times, this stuff, it dries so quick. But this paper is great. I'm a little bit worried. You know, I bought these 2 new sketchbooks. This is something I talked about previously. Bought these 2 new sketchbooks. It was a deal. It was like 2 for 10. It's like $10 for a sketchbook. I'll take it. It's like 110 pages. And it seemed pretty decent. Like, I actually took some time and I was doing what I recommend you guys doing, is going into the store and just using the pencil and seeing what it feels like. You know, I came across some sketchbooks that were thick, right? Like the paper was thick. You know, as you could see, like this is kind of like the best way to check it, how thick it is. Like, flick it. It should feel more like an index card if you're looking for a thicker quality. It should feel more like an index card than it should like easily bend. It shouldn't easily bend over, you know. So that's an indication that it's a pretty good thickness. But I don't think it's anywhere as near as thick as this, which is so frustrating. Like, this sketchbook is almost excellent. It's like one of the best sketchbooks I've ever had, and I think that's why I wanted to dedicate so much time to it. It really is like the perfect combination of thick and smooth. Like, it's just smooth enough and or textured enough to like not feel too slick and not feel too rough. But yeah, when I was at that that store, that art store, I was testing out these pages. I was going to the back of the sketchbooks and I was just doing the shading technique that you guys see here. And this gave me some time to just feel out the paper. Like, how smooth is it? Is it gonna have like really rough texture to it? You know, how well does the pencil glide on it? And I ended up finding that sketchbook to be the best out of the ones that they had available. I just don't think it's gonna be that great for India inks. I've yet to test that, so I'm probably gonna be doing that after the stream, and I'll give you guys some feedback on it. But I'm not keeping my hopes up. I'll say that. It just doesn't feel as thick as like when I'm doing this. I remember what the sketchbook felt like, and it was much thinner. So it looks like I'm actually going to be able to finish up this panel as well. Pretty good color mixing today, so I'm kind of happy about that. I'm going to move on to doing skin face. The skin color. Which is leaning more towards an orange than it is towards like a red, I'm gonna say. Add a drop of water because all of these colors are now becoming pretty thick. They're drying out. Did I do it right? Did I get it right? Well, for this guy, he looks super orange. And I'm going to say that's because it's Conan. In fact, it's absolutely Conan. I think that's the whole point. It's supposed to make you realize, oh, that's him. Not like the rest of them. Interesting. I like this music. It's kind of cool. I wonder, like, what culture that's from. I gotta make them lighter. Gotta make these guys look lighter. They're not supposed to be as dark as Conan. I guess that makes sense. They're kind of like basement dwellers. Whereas Conan is always out in the open, catching that vitamin D. Well, everybody, with this closing song, I am going to have to end the stream for the night. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys had a blast. Hope you enjoyed that intro as much as I did. And as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be another special intro this week. It's going to be this Friday, where I'm going to continue on with Gil Elfgren. So make sure you tune back in then for some new content. If you guys do enjoy this content, just remember to hit that like and subscribe button. I absolutely appreciate it. And it helps grow the stream. So enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow.